But have you heard the news? Have you heard the news?
Dun dun dun. Yes. So welcome back, Beatdown Bandits podcast. Oh God, this is gonna be hard. So it's season 2, episode 4. Oh my God, it's a lot of episodes now. This is like number 31-ish or 32 total, something like that. So pretty decent amount. So we're welcoming back Matt. Matt hasn't been in the last like 4 or 5 episods. So
I was incarcerated.
Yes.
Or not incarcerated, but incarcerated.
Yeah, that sounds more painful. Yeah, incarcerated. Yeah, Matt's been doing some prison time for murdering dogs. So it was the weirdest thing I could think of real quick.
Well, I wouldn't murder dogs, but I'd murder people that hurt dogs.
Dogs, yes. Okay. That's
so I murdered dog murderers.
Okay. No, we're just kidding. Matt's a dog lover. He would never hurt a fly. So, anywho, so yeah, as Matt showed, football is back. So I want to phrase this right. It is not NCAA football anymore. It is college football is back. So I'm assuming you know this whole news. Like, I don't know how much you've read into it, man.
I haven't, but I assumed. Just based on the previous title, how they were licensing it to the ESPN. So I imagine ESPN had the rights to some of this back then and were able to allow them to feature these things in the game or games prior to that.
I think with the NCAA, they were able to also work with ESPN and get the licensing to that. So here you can see the announcement tweet from, so it was on February 2nd on Groundhog's Day at 11:43 a.m. From EA Sports. So for those who never stopped believing, which I had given up on it, frankly, like I figured it would come back at some point, but I just wasn't, I figured we were still possibly like several years away from that. But yeah, there it is. That's is that possibly, as far as like video game news, is that like the coolest announcement or coolest video game you've heard from like the last 7 years or so?
That definitely is. It's been such a long time since we were able to play that game. And, one thing I liked about the game always was like being the coach, and then you could get like a contract, and then like you start at a small school and then you get the contract, go to a bigger school or whatever.
Right.
And then I always loved the building your player and then getting to go through school. And I always thought it'd be cool. And I don't know if they ended up, I don't think they did because Madden was probably a different developer, but
no, it was all
like
EA.
Yeah. But could you transfer your character after he graduated? Could you?
Yes. Transfer them to, as long as you have the same year, you could transfer them on. So you could import your player into Madden and then they could be drafted into the NFL. And I think they did that the last like 2 years of NCAA football into Madden. So it'd be like Madden 13 and 14. So that was cool. And I think I did that one time. Typically I was like buy Madden 1 year, then buy NCAA football the next.
That's how I used to do it. I wouldn't buy like Madden every year, but I'd kind of try to alternate them.
Yeah, that's what I did, but I always told myself I would do that, but I think I always bought NCAA football every single year. I think I still bought like Madden every other. So I was able to do that once and it was cool. And that's why I always like preferred NCAA football over Madden. There's one I would think I was more tied to those players because I was a lot more involved in Ohio State, which is just I had to put on an Ohio State hoodie real quick, so and I already had a hat on, but I was always a little bit more invested in stuff in college football than I was in the NFL. So I didn't necessarily want to buy it all the time. But you had mentioned like I think it's the road to glory in college football, was so fun because like you could start in college or in high school and work your way up to earn like a 5-star rating, and then work your way into college, and then go all the way into the NFL. So you could literally with those games go all the way from high school into the NFL, and that was such a unique thing.
Another feature that I liked, or that I always strive for, was all the awards, the Maxwell Awards, the Heisman's, all the, I wanted my defense guys to get all the defense awards, stuff like that, where the NFL games, you go to the Super Bowl, right? Like,
right.
It's not, you don't have the trophy case that you do.
Yeah, there's just so much to it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty massive. I did actually, maybe about a month ago, I actually played a couple games of NCAA football 14. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, as mentioned before, it's moving to college football, and the reason why is just basically licensing. So I didn't know this, but the NCAA only makes money on college basketball. Did you know that?
No.
I kid you not, all of their money from the NCAA is billions from college basketball. From all the TV rights to like March Madness and stuff. That's the only money they make. They make $0 from football. They only do rules and what's the word I'm looking for? Basically like the HR aspect of football. What is the word I'm looking for? Begins with a C. Every school has them. Basically like
compliance, like the compliance.
Yes. They do all the perfect. The compliance officers and all this stuff come from the NCAA, but they make $0 from football. It's all basketball. So a former NCAA compliance person was talking about this whole announcement. Is all the money comes from basketball. They make $0 off of football, but they make billions from March Madness, from like the TV rights, and it's also NCAA March Madness. So that's where they get all of their money. It's interesting. So
that's crazy. When I was talking to my wife about them coming back with it, I was telling her, like, couldn't they use the athlete's likeness? Because that was one of the big things, was they were using these guys' likeness, but they weren't getting paid or compensated.
Right.
And EA was making all the money.
Yeah.
But I was like, couldn't you, if they want to be part of the game, they can set up, like, EA could set up a trust for each person that uses their likeness. And then once they have completed their college career, or their eligibility or whatever was over, whether they go pro or what not, but they could get their $500 from it or whatever, which, I mean, it'd be hard to do, but at the same time, it's hard making a video game, and I think the fans and the people that want to buy this want to see Justin Fields in there.
So I have details on that. I looked all this up in preparation. Is why was that never a thing? It's because of players' unions. So there is an NFL players' union. So EA Sports can go to the players' union and sign one contract. It takes like 3 days, but they get it all taken care of how much players are going to get. But they don't have to deal with it. They'll say, okay, we'll pay you $7 million for the names and likenesses of all players, faces, names, etc. Okay, and then we'll go to the NFL to pay them for the rights of the logos for every team. College, there is no union for the players, so they would literally have to go to every college football player and sign a contract. They said it would take 3 to 4 years to be able to accomplish with like how many athletes there are. So it's like, nope, we don't want to be able to put out one every couple of years. There's just not enough time to accomplish it. So because there's no union, they couldn't do it. So what EA did is just they went to the college licensing company, I think is the name of it. And they basically just worked with every single college and said, we'll give you X amount of money for the logo, the stadium, your mascot, and your traditions. and we don't care about the players. We don't care about the ratings. Don't care any about that stuff. We just want the Ohio State logo and the Alabama logo and the Clemson logo. We just want those logos and the stadiums and the sounds that your marching band makes and what you guys do when you come onto the field, things like that. So that's all they had to do. I guess it took no time at all. So pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, as a fan, it's going to be hard, but at the same time, if you have someone like Justin Fields is supposed to be your quarterback, but most of the time I'm going to build a quarterback anyways that runs, and he's going to be on the bench, and it's going to be my character with my last name.
Yeah, and I think what EA is planning on people to do is basically just screw over the NCAA one more time, is to build rosters for people to just download for free anyway. So if you get it on opening day, you wait a couple hours, people will have full rosters out there. I mean, there are people who just like, oh yeah, I love building rosters. And so they'll have, you can download, the latest and greatest roster. It'll have all the names and close ratings or whatever. And then you can edit it from there. If your favorite team is Missouri and you want everybody to be 99 ratings, then you can just max out the stats and you're done. So I think that's what they're planning on people to do, is just edit the rosters. And everything is going to be randomized. So you may get your game, and the best team in college football is UNLV. And, your
what
team,
about,
Alabama may have like a 57 rating and could be the worst team. It could just be it's just totally random.
So what about, it's next gen console only, right?
I don't think that's yet announced, but they did say they're not coming out with it this summer/fall. So it's going to be a whole nother year. So I would imagine it's only going to be next gen. So if it doesn't come out until, say, July or August of 2022, I can't imagine them wanting to spend time. I mean, they might. It just depends on how many more next gen consoles get sold the next year, I guess.
Well, the problem with that is the components. Like, I just read an article about one of the components. The reason you can't get the systems or consoles now is because there's one little component that's holding up the production of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's super hard to get some of those right now. So I haven't looked since the release, the first 2 weeks of the releases. So I haven't really bothered, but I know it's a pain in the butt to try to get them. So, but that's pretty typical. It was the original Xbox 360s with the red ring of death. You remember that?
Yeah.
So I think I had 2 do that. One I had to pay for myself, and then eventually Microsoft's like, "Yeah, we effed up. Just send it in for free, and we'll fix it and send it back." So Microsoft's got a couple bucks to be able to pay for that themselves, I guess, since it was their screw up. Crazy. Okay, so something for fun I wanted to do was I looked up the date. It was July 9th, 2013 was the last NCAA football. So that game right there with old Michigan quarterback Denard Robinson working at a gas station right now, or a car wash, one of the two. Or maybe he's doing his side hustle at the car wash while he's assistant manager at a Citgo. So that came out July 9th, 2013. So some fun things that happened in 2013. Let's just start with the depressing things, and then we'll get to the more interesting ones. That's why I just have a handful here. The Boston Marathon bombing.
Oh, really?
Was in 2013. It's just, some of these are gonna be like, holy crap, that was that long ago. The Cleveland, you remember the Cleveland kidnappings with
Oh yeah, where the girl escaped. And there were a couple more in there.
Yeah, there was a bunch, and the guy ended up killing himself, and while he was still waiting trial, and or while he was still in trial, right? They never, or maybe they had just sentenced him and then he killed himself.
Yeah, and didn't they make a great YouTube video about that? The guy they interviewed.
Yeah, because
What
the
was
girl
that?
came running out, and what did he
Yeah.
say? It's like, I knew something was wrong because no white girl was gonna come running up to a black man.
Yeah, it was like,
It was so good. I can't
yeah,
remember. It was one of those like hide your
yeah,
kids, hide your wife
well,
moments.
yeah,
I don't remember. It's like, I knew something was wrong. No little white girl was gonna
yeah.
come running up. But that was really depressing. So yeah, Boston Marathon, the Cleveland kidnappings. Paul Walker died in
Oh,
November that
really?
year. So yeah, shortly after this game came out, Paul Walker died. Edward Snowden, I found that to be interesting. Like I didn't feel like it was
Oh,
that long ago, but that's when Edward Snowden became a thing, stole documents
yeah.
from the NSA. What do you think? What do you think was the most popular online video game in 2013?
Minecraft.
46 million monthly users.
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. Well done. Candy Crush. I'm impressed.
Well,
Yeah.
that was my second guess. I said Minecraft
Minecraft,
first.
yeah. Monthly users, 46
Yeah.
million. It was just because
Candy
Facebook
Crush.
like exploded that year.
What about
Candy Crush.
oh yeah, the Kardashians game probably wasn't out by then.
Probably not. I did look up like there was some people who like got married and divorced that year. I feel like there was one that stuck out. Oh, uh, crap. Speaking of the Kardashians, Bruce Jenner and Kris Jenner got divorced that year.
Oh.
For, I think we all know why. Dennis Rodman went to visit Kim Jong Un.
Oh,
in
I
North
remember
Korea.
that.
So Dennis Rodman was in North Korea that year. Okay, so college football news. There's probably the biggest thing in college football that year. I'm blanking on who beat them. It may have been US. No, that doesn't sound right. I'm trying to think of who beat Notre Dame that year in the national championship game.
Would have been Alabama, is my guess.
Was it Alabama? Or was it like Texas? Was that like the Vince Young year? Maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, somebody on that Notre Dame team became very famous that year. Do you remember why? This is the first time I heard.
Quinn.
No.
Brady Quinn got drafted by the Browns, and they ruined his career.
You're close. No, somebody pretty much ruined his own career from Notre Dame. Now, he did go on to the NFL and played okay. So it was a linebacker for Notre Dame. Was considered for the Heisman for a short period of time. Has a Hawaiian name. You remember this?
Yeah, I remember the name. Mantow or whatever.
Yeah.
It was because he was getting catfished.
Catfished. That was like the first like public catfishing. Manti Te'o was catfished. What was like the whole deal? Like, oh my online girlfriend died in a car accident or something, and the guy totally catfished. So I think he dropped in the draft because they're like, this guy's very susceptible to weird crap. So, but he was like this, like supposed to be like the nicest guy in the world apparently, and just got unlucky. So yeah, that was all the same college football year. Oh, that poor dude. Yeah, now I have to like look up like who won.
Yeah, and like was Denard Robinson on here because he had a great 2013 season and he was like the next big thing, Heisman hype before he even got it, and then he just fizzled out?
Yeah, because they can't use on the cover, the person has to be out. So they can't use the name and likeness of anybody. So he would have graduated, or I don't know if he graduated, but he would have left in 2013. So that would be the first year without Denard Robinson. So I don't know who took over at quarterback after.
This does have one of those officially licensed collegiate product.
Yeah.
It's got a number and everything on there. All
right. So it would have been 2013. So it would have been like the year before, right? BCS, Notre Dame and Alabama. So Alabama beat Notre Dame. (42-14). That is unfortunate. AJ McCarron was the quarterback. Remember that whole deal, because like his girlfriend was in the stands and like they went to her like during that game like 20 times because she's like this smoking hot blonde Alabama girl, and they kept showing her.
Yeah.
And it got kind of creepy because the announcers kept talking about it. So the camera kept going back to her. It was really creepy.
And then there was that time where Ohio State was playing Notre Dame, and like Brady Quinn, like AJ Hawk was dating Brady Quinn's sister, and it was like, oh man. We were just talking about this at work. Like, remember when Krenzel was the quarterback? They'd always say, Craig Krenzel, molecular biology doctorate candidate with a 3.79 GPA. Like every time they had to say that. Like,
yep, the start of every game, you'd have to hear it, and then you'd hear it some other random time. Like,
here's a question from his molecular biology final.
Yep, that was pretty typical.
Yep.
Unbelievable. All right, well, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. I'm trying to think. I don't think I had any other like random news about it, other than it does seem like it's going to be like 2022 before this does come out.
But will it have a 2021 date on it, or will it be 2022?
I think it'll be 2023. So I think it'll come out. Yeah, NCAA or no, sorry, college football 23. So.
So when ESPN like tweeted that out or put it on Instagram and stuff, they also said, what other games would you like to see come back? And remember Xbox had the original Xbox, ESPN had made this pro football game. It was like ESPN football or something.
Okay. And
it was like directly to compete with Madden.
I do remember this, yeah.
And remember, like Madden was like $60 or $59.99, or I mean, back then games were $49.99. Now they're $69.99. But this game came out with the ESPN on it, and it was $20. Everyone bought that game. Everyone bought that game. No one bought Madden. And then what happened was EA was like, nah, baby, nah. So they, I think, went to the NFL and said, hey, we're the only ones that can make a football game like this or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, I think that's how, like, the whole college football thing, because I think, like, one other team or one other company tried to make, like, a college football game, and it just got obliterated. Like, how do you compete, you know, especially, like, say, like, 2012, like, some companies like, oh, we'll make one.
Yeah.
And, it's like,
yeah.
It's like EA has a basketball game called NBA Live. So back in like 2004, 5, in that range, like it was a good game. It wasn't too bad. But then like 2K came on, and NBA 2K is just so much better, so much smoother, and so NBA Live tried to make a comeback in like 2016. It's just garbage. So like I played it. I think I played like I think they stopped at like 2018. They did like 2016, 2017, 2018. And it's like, nope, we just can't. It's not worth all the licensing and time it takes. We're just not getting the sales to make profit off of it. It's kind of too bad, but there's usually more competition. That's the only problem I have with like Maddens and NCAA footballs and all that other stuff anyway, is it's almost like recycled garbage every year.
Well, I heard the most recent Madden, like players were pissed because you know how like they'll do like after you score and it pans the crowd and the crowd's going like this. Yeah. Well, there were banners in the crowd that would say, Madden 2019 or whatever, and it was the previous year's Madden. Like, they didn't even bother to, like, it was just the same game, like,
Yeah.
not even updated.
Yeah,
Like,
they just updated the roster and then pushed it out and sold it again.
yeah.
So that's a big issue, and you can spend a little bit of time on like the whole like single player aspect of the football games. It's like, oh, we'll write a story, and 2K does it. Madden's been doing it the last couple of years. Is the whole you create a player and you see what you can do and make it to the show and all that stuff, and it's like that doesn't take that long and that much effort to do. But yeah, they just suck at recreating the game and making it any better. Just the same goofy glitches. And I know EA's got a tendency of doing that. It's like just not fixing issues, but oh well. It is what it is. All right, so is this going to be the reason why you buy a next gen console?
Well, it's one.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple months before they say, hey, GTA 6 is coming. Yeah. There could be another game that just is like just as amazing, or we watch the stuff. Remember, I only bought my Xbox One originally for The Division.
Right.
Which it was a good game. I mean, we played it for 30 days straight, basically. Yeah. Every time we played, that's what we played. We had fun. I mean, I got my $60 or whatever out of it, but there's not longevity or replayability. Something like this, like you can pop that in today and play a quick game and just have memories, like fond memories of it. Right. Now, of course, it's not going to be cutting edge graphics or anything like that, or the music's going to be a little bit dated, but right. It'll still entertain you just for the historic value.
Right. Oh, that is something else. Yeah, because that was another concern that I thought of. Like, if they're not getting any like the names and likeness and things like that, is what about like playbooks? Is that going to be randomized? Like, am I going to get, obviously, I'm an Ohio State guy. So if I get that, I want a high powered offense. Is it just going to be total garbage? Is it going to be like, sorry, you got the Georgia Tech triple option playbook? It's just a random playbook. Sorry. But actually they did get the rights to like use the playbooks. So it'll be a similar offense or defense, whatever. So pretty nice. What are you playing there?
Oh, there's a cup holder. I was touching it.
I was a little worried you were like going to start playing the fight song. I was like, oh god, I got to stop.
No.
That's I didn't follow in EA's footsteps to go get the rights to that real quick. So.
Yeah.
So very cool. All right. Well, any last minute thoughts on the return of college football?
It'll be interesting to see how they do it. It'll be fun to play. But like you said, if the rosters are random, but then you could just download a roster. Yeah. Like I could go. I don't know how that would work. I'm not sophisticated
you can
enough
do that
to
in
know.
NCAA football now or NBA 2K, Madden. You can go in there and download, like you can fire up Madden today. We'll say I don't have Madden 21, but Madden 20. I could open that up and people will create rosters of like Madden 95. So you could download the Madden 95 roster, which is one of my favorite football games of all time was Madden 95. You can download that roster and it will be like the current graphics. So I can have Brett Favre at quarterback for the Packers. so I can do that. And so, yeah, that's, people love creating those type of rosters. Like people do like celebrity rosters of like celebrities, and I don't know, some of it's kind of stupid, but so yeah, there you go. Like I know like 2K, like a lot of people like the celebrity ones. There's always Snoop Dogg, there's always Justin Bieber. I don't know. It's weird. Oh well.
Yeah, I think it's good, interesting news. To be. How it's been a long time since I bought a sports game. I have a Madden for the Xbox One. I think it's...
Well, didn't we played Madden 20? You have Madden 20. You didn't buy it.
Well,
You bought it
no,
on
yeah, I
Game
think it's
Pass.
on the EA Pass or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you destroyed me, like you do on all the video games. I love it.
What did I have? Didn't you have like the Chiefs or something too? I want to say we did like random teams. You had the Chiefs and I had Arizona. I think it was Arizona versus the Chiefs, and I think I beat you.
Oh, I'm sure there's a YouTube video down here where if you click videos, it's in there. Kind of if you go,
I should.
If you go back on your channel, I think one of your first videos is you playing college football.
Yeah. There's a couple NCAA footballs, and that was probably back like 2016-ish time frame. I uploaded a handful of college football games. So when did I don't know. It would have been on the Xbox 360. So it was before the Division and stuff came out, because that's when I would have switched. And I don't even know if I can record off of the Xbox 360 anymore. So even if we were to like, oh, I'm feeling very nostalgic, let's play NCAA football.
And we can't put this in our Xbox. It's not reverse compatible with this or anything.
Sadly not. No, people have complained about that. And so that was something else I read today, was a lot of people were ticked off that they never put NCAA football on current gen because it came out the same year. But I guess it was like going to cost EA too much money to do two different versions of the game, so they just put it on that. But it was like, oh, the Xbox Ones and the PlayStation 4s are too new. We'll get our most of our money on the PlayStation 3s and the Xbox 360s. Whoops. Blown opportunity. So yeah, sadly, there's no backwards compatibility. I don't know if I've ever put the disc in, but I think I Googled it and it doesn't work.
I mean, how hard would it be with today's technology just to make this?
I don't know. Just somebody like put it in their PC, copy everything to another disc, and I don't know. I'm not that savvy with it. I'm sure there's some type of lock on the disc where you're not able to do that. Some type of copyright issue. You'd probably be going to prison for like 5 years for it. There's got to be some type of law around that. For sure. All right. Well, I mean, I don't have anything else. You have anything else?
No, I think I'm going to go make some dinner, then I'm going to get online.
Yeah. That sounds delicious. What's for dinner tonight at the Muster household?
Pork chops.
Pork chops. I think it's tacos over here.
Oh.
It's a taco night.
Yeah, that's Tuesdays, bruh.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always said is when I went to get groceries today was, oh yeah, we'll do stuff for tacos. It was like, let's just do them tonight. It's like, oh, okay. It's like I was planning on that for Tuesday, but it's so it's Taco Saturdays over here at this household.
All right. Well, I'll see you online a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, anytime. You can come anytime. Or if you have other thoughts of podcasts, and I have a list of like 25 future podcasts, so nobody has to worry that this is going to go away anytime soon. So if you have ideas, thoughts, or little goofy things, you're more welcome to yell at me, and we'll.
Or if you're watching a podcast, you can always in the comments leave an idea for a podcast that maybe we could discuss.
Yes, I'm all for anything unique and something that somebody else wants to hear. So, not just the same crap that I want to listen to or talk about. So
yeah,
faux show. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for watching, listening, whatever. Bye.
Bye. Have a great time.
Have a great time.